Morning and welcome to another video in the series Bicycle Maintenance with a fairly average mechanic, the fairly average mechanic being moi. And today we're not really talking about bicycle maintenance. I thought I'd do a video for all those people who've started cycling or come back to cycling as a result of coronavirus and lockdown and quarantine and so on and so forth. And I think it is great that people are getting back on their bikes, they're digging out old bikes. I just read a report that in France they're offering a subsidy of 50 euros to anybody who gets a bike or gets a bike out, an old bike out of the garage and starts to cycle again. And I think we ought to do something like that in this country because there's going to be issues with reactivating public transport. We don't want to see all the cars back on the road. Bicycles are the natural solution. So what I thought I'd do today is talk about pedals. Now, for you experienced cyclists out there, this is going to be a little below your pay grade. Below your pay grade? No, this is going to be not quite advanced enough for you. But for lots of people who are new to cycling, pedals and which sorts of pedals to choose and why can be a little bit of a minefield. So I thought I'd go through it. So let's start, first of all, with a pedal. And here is a pedal. I'm sure you're all familiar with what a pedal looks like. Now, this pedal has got attached to it what are called toe clips and a strap. A toe clip, rather. There's a toe clip on the other pedal. And you've probably all seen this, you're probably familiar with this from when you used to cycle as a child or in your younger days. You can wear ordinary shoes, trainers, and you put your foot in there. You can tighten up the strap or not, and it's quite efficient, it's quite effective, it's quite cheap, and it's a good little system. And quite a lot of people are still quite happy. And they're not just CTC members, cycling tourists or rough guide fellowship people. They're not just the more elderly type of cyclists. There are lots of cyclists who carry on using toe clips, and why not? But if you start cycling, not seriously, but if you decide you want to go faster or further, then you think about using what are called clipless pedals. And here we get into a whole different trip. Now, there are various types of clipless pedals on the market, and this one is a very widely used and a very common one. This is made by Shimano, a Japanese company, and this is often described as a mountain bike pedal. This is a Shimano SPD. SPD, incidentally, stands for Shimano Pedaling Dynamics. And what it is, it's very similar. Well, no, it's not dissimilar. These kind of pedals rose or evolved from ski binding, ski boots. So somebody looked at the way skiers attach their skis to their boots and thought, why can't we do a similar thing with pedals? So what they came up with this idea, and this is basically, there are two steel traps, if you like, one of which, or rather both of which, are on springs, very tight springs. So you can force your cleat, which is on your shoe, and I'll show you in a minute, you force your cleat into that pedal, it locks in, and then to remove it, you twist your foot outwards like that, and you are released from the pedal. So here is a cycling shoe, what you might call a mountain bike cycling shoe, and you'll see there is like a normal shoe sole, but recessed here is the cleat, and that cleat locks in to the shoe, to the pedal like that. And that means that you can push down on your pedal as you would normally, but you can also pull up with your foot because, of course, your foot doesn't slip off the pedal. One of the big advantages of using these, what are called clipless pedals, because they don't use a toe clip, one of the big advantages of this is in the wet. And I'm sure if you've noticed when you're cycling in the rain and you're cycling with ordinary shoes on ordinary pedals, it's very easy for your foot to slip off the pedal, and that can be quite dangerous. So one of the big advantages of clipless pedals is that your feet stay in the pedal, clipped in until you unclip. Now, Lots of people like these. I like these and I use them quite a lot. But sometimes when people become very serious cyclists, they think, oh no, I shouldn't be using a mountain bike pedal. I should be using a proper road cyclist pedal because I've got all my Lycra, I've got my carbon bike. I now want to have a proper road pedal like a professional. And probably the most widely used road cyclist pedal is this one, which is made by a company called Look. And Look originally developed this type of clipless pedal. It's very similar to the type of ski bindings that you would see and that Look started off producing. Same sort of principle in that this is a spring-loaded piece here at the back. You put your cleat into the pedal, you push your foot down and it pushes back that spring-loaded element, which then locks your shoe to the pedal. And here is a shoe with the cleat. This red thing here is a slightly worn cleat, and the way it works is that I'm just trying to see the best way of showing you this, is you put your foot in there, you push down, and that locks the cleat into the pedal. These pedals are very effective and they give you a slightly wider platform for your foot to sit on, which some people find more comfortable than the mountain bike pedals. The big advantage or the big disadvantage of this particular type of shoe is that the cleat, as you can see, sticks down from the bottom of the shoe, which means that you walk in a rather odd fashion, very characteristic of a cyclist wearing Lycra, wearing cycling shoes, clip-clopping through a cafe or something that tends to cause annoyance, particularly for people who don't like cyclists. The big advantage of the mountain bike pedal and the mountain bike shoe is because the cleat is recessed into the sole of the shoe, they are pretty much like walking in normal shoes. So if you are mountain biking or gravel biking or doing something where taking your foot out and even occasionally walking or running along the ground, if you're gravel biking or doing cyclocross cycling, then a pedal and a cleat system that enables you to walk in your shoes is much easier and better to use than this. So if you're going cycle touring, for example, you'd be more likely to use a mountain bike type pedal. If you were road cycling and you wanted to look like a real cyclist in your Lycra with your carbon bike and everything else, you would probably wear these kind of use these kind of road pedals. The Look pedal, Shimano also make a pedal similar to this, which is called the SPD SL, which is a little bit confusing. There are also fairly similar pedals used by made by a company called Time. There are a couple of other makes. The other one which you may have heard of or you may see advertised is called Speed Play. And the difference with Speed Play, I'm sorry I haven't got one to show you at the moment, but the difference with Speed Play is that the pedal element doesn't have the connector on it. The connector on it is attached to your shoe. So the pedal clips into your shoe or into the cleat in your shoe as opposed to your shoe clipping into the pedal. So slightly different way of operating, but the principle is the same in that the shoe is clipped to the pedal. Speed plays tend to be quite expensive. If you are keen on your cycling, you might want to try them. I tried them myself. I used them for a while. Various reasons I went back to either Look pedals or increasingly these Shimano SPD mountain bike pedals. So the cost of these tends to be a lot cheaper than these, although there are different brands at different price points, so there's not necessarily that much difference between them. If you get a cheaper one of these matched to one of these. You can pay a lot of money for these. They can be made of materials like titanium, where they are particularly light, and you can be looking at over £100, and certainly speed plate pedals tend to be over £100 as well. So you're talking about quite a cost. So if you're on a limited budget, but you want to get into using clipless pedals on your bike, then I would recommend this mountain bike style. You can buy cycling shoes with the cleats, by the way, come with the pedals. You don't get them with the shoes. And the shoes tend to be... actually, do you get the cleats? You don't get road cleats with these shoes, but you sometimes get... no, a little bit confused there. Sorry, I ought to have checked up on that. Anyway, my point is that you can buy the cycling shoes to use with these mountain bike pedals for 40, 50, 60 quid, something like that. You can buy these type of shoes at a lower price point, a similar price point, but they can go up very expensive. You can pay 350, 400 quid even for a pair of very expensive cycling shoes that use these type of cleats. So I hope you found that a useful introduction. I will carry on making the bike maintenance videos. If you're enjoying these videos, please subscribe, give me a thumbs up, share the video, tell your friends all about it, and look forward to seeing you in the next video. Don't go away, look after yourselves. See you next time.